last time we were discussing the message Atal padarth paya, bhaivanjan ki saranaya, laye anchal nanak tariyan jitta janam apar jiyo. Atal. As we have discussed it a number of times, that anything that points to the ultimate creative energy, the words normally are negative in nature, because it is impossible to say what is the characteristic of that energy in a positive sense. But you can surely point it out by saying what it is not. So we need to be very alert when these negative terms like unborn or self-created, without parents, these are negative terms, and all it is trying to indicate is you cannot describe that energy in the positive terms, so stop struggling with it, because the intellect will immediately say, if it is not this, then what it is. And the very reason the negative words are used is actually to stop you from asking that question. If it is not this, then what it is, what it can be, what it should be, all these questions should be permanently deleted from the memory of the seeker. But we don't do that. Today, the humanity is lost in the debate. If there is this energy, then what is it? So last week, we were given the word atal. The moment you put a in front of a word, it becomes negative. The word is tal. Then you put a in front of it, it becomes atal. Meaning thereby, something that cannot be shifted anyway, moving anyway, fixed, permanent, unchanging. The time and space cannot affect it. That is atal. So, this is a very, very important practice for a meditator, to train the thinking process and say, stop asking the next question. Because it will ask the next question, then what is it? Then define it for me. I will accept your definition that he is unborn, and I won't argue with you. Then go on and tell me how it came into being. If not by birth, how did it come by? And the master will immediately take a stick and hit you on the head and say, I told you, you cannot say that in positive terms. Train your mind to get this thought out of it. Zen masters carry a very long bamboo stick. and they normally walk behind the meditators. Actually, the purpose of the bamboo stick is to hit on this muscle, and it is not to hurt you, because the bamboo stick only makes noise. It's so long because it bends. It doesn't hurt, but it gives a shock treatment to this muscle and it wakes you up. If the mind tries to go to sleep, body tries to go to sleep, and the master sees somebody doing this, they come behind and zap. The same technique need to be used on the thought process. When the thought process, which has been told once, it is illogical, it is a wrong process to go thinking about. We need to learn to whip it mentally and say, stop. It is immovable. It is unchanging. And don't ask the next question. Atal padarth paya. His grace gave me the taste of himself. Padarth paya. Padarth literally translated is a thing. Paya means to get it, to taste it, to experience it. So how do you experience the unchanging unborn? That happened when bhai ki saran aaya. Bhai literally means the fear. And fear has a quality because fear needs the other. Right? If you are going to be afraid, you have to be afraid of something. Now, that creative energy has no equal to be afraid of something or to be an enemy of something. In both cases, you need the other. Right? To have enmity inside you, you need the other. To be afraid of something, you need the other. Because that energy is all by itself, no equal, no parallel, no comparison. Hence, the fear and the enmity both are absent because there is no other. So when you surrender to the one who has no fear, then your fear also disappears. So, bhai bhanjan. Bhanjan means literally to get rid of. Bhai means fear. Saranaya means to surrender. If you surrender 100% to that creative energy, then the fear disappears. It is that which is tasted, atal padarth paya. Because that state of existence is the state of oneness. And the mind is going to jump up again. Oneness with respect to what? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Now I can understand 1 because there is a 2. But if there was no 2, how would you define oneness? Trapped again. The logical mind captures you back into the physical dimension again. That oneness is not a numerical understanding, it is just the word describing no other parallel, no other similar thing in the existence. That's why for a meditator it requires a continuous alertness. Very, very important lesson. It's a lifelong commitment. Because the moment you say, okay, I got it now, and I am relaxed. It was explained very well, I understood it, and I am done. The moment you are relaxing, it comes right back. You are back into the trap, you are back into the thought process. It requires only a moment of relaxation, of not watching. The duality thinking, dual thinking will come back into it. This message was about oneness. Atal padarth paya, bhai bhanjan ki saran aaya. Once you surrender to the one who is completely fearless and he destroys the fear of anyone who surrendered to him, how does he do that? Lai anchal nanak tariya. Anchal literally translated is a scarf that normally the ladies put on their head. Anchal or anchal. What is the significance of that? If a child starts lagging behind while the mother is walking, mother will give the child a little bit of freedom by saying, hold on to the corner of this scarf. That means you can lag behind up to the length of the scarf, but you have to keep up with me otherwise. That becomes the support mechanism. Because when I came first time to this country and I saw the ladies putting a sling around their waist and hand the one end of the sling to the kid, I used to get a laugh out of that sight. That scene was so comic for me that the mother does not distinguish between walking the dog and walking the child. They have a sling. Indian mothers kept a little bit of dignity. They handed their own scarf to the child. And that's called anchalalaya. Held, controlled, or guided by that. The metaphor here points out, if you go surrender to him, then he will hand his scarf to you and say, now you are attached with me. You're going to roam about a little bit, but you are attached with me. Hold on to this. Lai anchal nanak tariya. And if he hands you that end of the scarf, jitta janam aparajyo. Jitta literally means to win. Win the game of life. Now you have accomplish the task for which you came in this incarnation. But how did the whole process start then? Once you understand that surrendering is going to lead to that, how do I start it? The next hymn answers that question. It says, har jap jape man dheeray, rahaa. Wherever there is a word rahaa-o in the hymn, it is a pointer, it is an indicator that stop here and meditate on it. Think about it. Go deeper into it. And in a single statement, the process has been described. What you need to do. If you want to become worthy of holding his scarf, then here is the process. Here is the method. Har jap. Jap literally means to chant, to meditate, to repeat. Repeat what? Har. What is har? The creative energy. Repeat his name. That's the total process. That's it. Nothing is more required to be done. You just start this process. And if you start this process and the process is proper, correct, then I will give you the pointer as to how do you know if you are doing it the right way. How do you know if it is the right process for you? Look at the brevity of the sentence and the message hidden in it. First two words, har jap. Second word, japay. If you keep doing and doing it the right way, you will know if it is the right by man dheeray. Man means the mind. Dheeray means the quietness, slowing down. If the mind that's running around in circles create a circular argument within your own mind, mind is an expert in dividing itself into two camps. One will argue about the pro, the other will give the argument of the con. One mind within yourself, and you have seen it. You may be doing it right now. Your mind may be going through that process as we are speaking and you are listening here right now. One side will say, well, does that make sense? I never heard it before. And the other will say, hold on, give it a chance. There may be something. The other one say, no, you're just wasting your time. And on and off. This chatter can continue ad nauseum till you become alert. Your inner observer become alert and look at the mind and say, would you shut up? Be quiet. Listen to what I am saying. Till you learn to do that, become a disciplinarian for your thought generator inside you. poetry master warns us it is a very long, old habit. Don't expect it to show the results in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. Because that depends on how many memories you have accumulated. Those memories that are responsible for creating thoughts. So don't give up and say, well, nothing happens. I've been doing it for now what? 3 days. That's 3 hours out of my life which I'm never going to get back. To hell with this nonsense. It's not going to happen that way. You have to continue till har jap japay man dheeray, dheeraj, equipoise, developing some patience, developing some commitment, some dedication, some determination, some inner peace, which others cannot see it, but you do from within. What are the evolutionary stages? Har jap jape man dheere. If you stay with it, it will automatically take you to the next stage, which is simar gurday-o. Simarna, japana. Next stage is simarna. Next stage dhyana. Next stage samadhi. What does simar literally means? Simar means the jap, that word, which you are making effort now to say it. It will go on the autopilot. You would not have to make the effort to say it. It will automatically come out. Because it has become the part of your nature now. That's why I use the example of learning to drive all the time. Harki jerky movement is jump. And when the course is over, now you don't have to look this way, that way, pay attention to this and that, nothing. Car drives. The brakes and the accelerator and the clutch and the steering are part of your body now. Your mind does not tell your foot, press the brake, press the brake, press the brake. It just knows when to press the brake and when to release the brake. That is a state of simarna. When the mind does not have to tell you, say Vaheguru. The Vaheguru automatically stumbles out of your mouth without the effort. The breath goes in, breath comes out, and the Vaheguru is connected with that. Whether you hear it or not, whether somebody else hear it or not, that word is now married with your breath. That is simarna. If you get to that stage, simar gurday-o, if you get to that stage, then here is the test of that also. What was the test for the first one? har jap jape man dheeray. The mind is settled, it's quieted down. Does not have the urge to move. Today, for a beginner, when they sit down for the meditation, the mind starts creating thoughts right away. Have you shut down your cell phone? Is the door locked? Are you comfortable enough? Can you sit here for 15 minutes? You will get tired. What if you get thirsty? Get a glass of water here. It will create all these thoughts. That means it's moving around. But as you go deeper into the practice, it will stop wondering about all of these things. Then the door might be open and the cell phone might be on and you may be sitting on the floor. It won't ask you. Why not? Because it says, I will deal with it when it comes to. The sense or the anxiety that is associated with this thought will disappear. Because this is not something that if you get thirsty, that while you are repeating your word, you cannot get up and get a glass of water. Nobody told you once you sit down you cannot move, you cannot get up. Nobody told you when you are practicing you cannot stretch your legs. These are the disciplines that you are enforcing on yourself. The process doesn't call for it. If you get tired and you need a pillow, keep your word repetition and bring the pillow and put it down and sit on it. Who's stopping you? But the mind will not accept that. No, you better do all these things first. And the moment you have taken care of all these things first, you'll come up with one more. Do you have enough time? What is your first appointment? It will not settle. And it is a naughty child, stubborn child, willful child, and you have to bring it back consistently, constantly. And if you do that, then har jap jape man dheeray. Then the poise will start developing. That is the test that the jap is succeeding. Next stage, simar. Simar simar gurday-o, mit gaye bha dooray. How do you know that you are now in the stage of simran? Mit gaye bha dooray, the fear. Suddenly, the habit of being afraid will start dying down. I remember in California, there was a time when there was a psychic murderer. The name given to that was Night Stalker. As long as the Night Stalker wasn't caught, the people were afraid to enter their houses after just going to the grocery. Or he might have come in and hid. fear of the unknown suddenly gripped the entire Orange County, Los Angeles area. That fear of the unknown, for totally illogical reasons, the inner strength starts evolving. And the fear of the unknown starts drifting away from you. The thought doesn't even come then. Now, why is that? In the last hymn, we talked about it. Atal. If you are getting associated with the Atal, who is unique, who is one, who is unmoving, then the fear will start disappearing. And this is describing the process. When will you experience that state of existence, a fearlessness? The message is, you will experience this when you get to the second stage. The fear will start slowly, slowly drifting away out of your system. Next stage. saran aavai paarbarahm ki, taa phir kaahay jhooray. Jhooray literally means to be worried about. Our life is spent in worrying about one thing or the other. It's a story of the all humanity. Nobody is an exception to this. Majority of the conflicts in human relationships are because of the unfounded worry. And we all know that. We have gone through it, kept on worrying something, and it never came about. That's why there is a colloquial saying in America, worry is like a rocking chair. It keeps you busy but gets you nowhere. Right? You can just sit in the chair and keep on doing this. It keeps you busy but gets you nowhere. But mind is perfectly happy with it. So where is it going to go? So it starts building the daydreams. I wonder, who is he having a lunch with today? Is she younger than me? Is she prettier than me? I'm sitting home and wondering. Worrying about it. Is he going to leave me? Changing? Just worry. And when the evening comes and the question asks, who did you have the lunch with? He said, I never had the time to go out for lunch at all. There was so much of work. I worked through all the way to the lunch. But the mind kept busy, worrying. When do you drop all these things? When do you get to a stage where you absolutely take everything in your life and give it to him and say, you worry about it. It is your will. Whatever will happen, will happen. I have no control. I cannot change it. I cannot do it, so I am not going to worry about it. You do it. If I cannot stop it, if I can change it, why am I sitting home and worrying about it? When do you get to that stage? Logically, it makes sense. But when do you develop that energy from inside? Here is the answer. Saran aavai paarbarahm ki. Saran literally means come under the protection. That's a saran. When Osama went to Afghanistan, that is what the Afghani people said. He has asked for our protection. We are not going to let him down. In our language, he took the saran of Afghanistan, protection of Afghanistan, of the Taliban people. And the Taliban people, to honor that, lost the entire power structure that they had built in 5 years. That's how important this is, to be under the protection of something. We are being told here, why don't you go under the protection of the Creator? One who's under His protection can never be let down. Saran aave paarbarahm ki, paarbarahm. Par means beyond, Brahm means the whole creation. Why don't you go under the protection of the one who is beyond all this creation, the ultimate creative energy? And if you do that, saran aave paarbarahm ki, taa phir kaahay jhooray. Then why would you worry? Then the worry is automatically going to disappear, because you are under the protection of the greater than the greatest. There can be no better protection in this universe. But that's not what we do. What is our normal habit? Imagine, this is actually a story from Mahabharata. That here is this lady who is being prepared to be disrobed in the presence of the entire court. And the person who's going to disrobe her is way stronger than her. So what is her first instinct? The man goes to, her name was Draupadi, the man who goes to disrobe her name was Dursasana. He goes and takes the corner of her sari and starts pulling it. Now when he is pulling that corner, she is trying to stop him. She is pulling it back. But of course he is stronger. She cannot do that. Then when she cannot, she pleads to all her relatives that were in the court. But they, for their own reasons, cannot help her. When they also cast their eyes down, she goes to the king, who's in the court, and pleads to the king, why don't you stop this injustice? And for his reasons, he stops. He says, I can't. And then she closes her eyes, drops both hands, leave the sari in the hands of him, folds the hand and he says, "Oh God, oh Krishna, now you are the only help I can seek." The story goes that the God hears her plea and people see a miracle. No matter how much cloth he is taking off her body, the cloth keeps on increasing to such a length that he gets tired and frustrated and falls to the ground, but she is not disrobed. Now she goes to thank Krishna for helping her, but also complain to him, "Why you delayed?" And the Krishna says, "Draupadi, I was not late. You were late in calling because you behaved as if you are capable of stopping the process. Then you took the support of your relatives. That failed. Then you took the support of the law, the king, and that failed." Every human does that. When they are in trouble, first they try to solve themselves. If they can't solve it, they go to the friends, neighbors, relatives, and if that doesn't help, they go to the law. And if that doesn't help, then they come back and say, "Now let me pray now." Wouldn't it be nice if we could go on the very first step and say, "Help me"? We don't do that. We do not seek the shelter of the ultimate creator the moment we need the help. We first try these three things: ourselves, society, and the law. You can apply this formula on yourself in every walk of your life. Think about it. When is it that the moment we feel the stress, we say, "I am surrendering to you. I am seeking your shelter." And if that happens, on the very first instance, which is saran aavai paarbarahm ki, taa kaahay jhooray, then there can be no worry left. Because the very moment you take the shelter of the Creator, he is responsible now. Now you might say, "Well, this doesn't make sense in today's world." I implore you, whatever is going to happen is going to happen regardless whose help you have. The best possible law, best possible sport will not save you. Right now, it's happening, the history is being written. The ex-president of Pakistan, under the protection and recommendation of all the powerful forces, after 4 years of exile, came back to Pakistan to fight the election. He was not allowed to fight the election. And whosoever gave the guarantee that anything happen, we'll protect you and we'll pull you back, all backed off, and he is in jail now. Nothing helped. Powerful forces like Saudi Arabia and America and everybody couldn't help. Surrendering is the best choice, and accepting the destiny is the best approach. Saran aavai paarbarahm ki taan fir kaahay jhooray. If you seek the saran, the shelter of paarbarahm, beyond the creation, the creator, then there will be no worry left. So when you surrender to him and he's taking care of everything, what is your responsibility? What should you be doing? Charan sayv sant saaDh ke sagal manorath pooray. You stay in that meditation. Charan sayv. If you translate it literally, you are not going to get the message. Charan literally means the inner, the fine body, what we call suksham body. Foot is the outside foot and charan is the inner body foot. That's the literal translation. And sayv means to serve. Sant saaDh ke means those who are on the path. Sagal manorath pooray means all of your problems will be taken care of. But the real message is, when you stay in a complete meditation with the help of those who are on the path, you will solve all of your problems. How can you give me such a big guarantee? Is it for everybody? He said, yes. Ghat ek varatdaa jal thal mahee-al pooray. Ghat. Every single being, he is in there. So that means he is taking care of every single being. There is no exception to this rule. Ghat ek varatdaa jal thal mahee-al pooray. Whether it is the ocean, whether it is the earth, whether it is the air, it does not matter. He is everywhere. That's why this is applicable to everyone. Paap binaasan sayvi-aa, pavitar santan ki dooray. Paap means the negative energy. Binaasan means to destroy it. If you stay in his protection and remember him and do his job all the time, then pavitar santan ki dooray. Then your inner being will get purified to such a level that you will get worthy of his grace. Aap chhadaa-ee khasam aap har japay dooray. Sab chhadaa-ee khasam aap. Those who are freed from the bondage, they are the recipient of his grace and they have done only one thing, which is har jap. They have just stayed in their meditation. Bhai dooray. Dooray literally means to be. The right word for dooray actually is cold. But that's not what it means. It basically means that you are freed from the heat of the negative energy. Karte kee-aa tapavaso, dusht muve hoye mooray. Karte kee-aa tapavaso. Tapavaso is Arabic word from tafahus, which means to give the justice. न्याय करना, तफावत शो। करते किया तपावत शो, दुष्ट मुए होए मुए। But those who did not accept this, those who stayed with the negative energy, they started becoming like moe hue mure. Mure means when you kill an animal and take its skin and then stuff the skin with the cotton or other things and then put it on your shelf as a trophy.